people in here waiting already. Let me get this thing working. I thought I'd start a few minutes early. Yes, I did. I sent you an email back this morning, John, and you're going to find out why I didn't respond immediately. That's why I'm starting a few minutes early. Um, about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes after my Tuesday live, I was on the phone with Saskia on FaceTime Messenger. I turned the corner. Here, let me get my chat box going here. Somehow it's turned off. I turned the corner and I wasn't looking. I was looking at the well, let's hope it starts. Okay, why is the live not live on my little tablet here? Can somebody say hi or something? Either I have to go in and out again. Go back and try to find this again and go in. Because I'm live, I should be able to see myself on screen. Oh yeah, it wants me to do a TikTok commercial. Of course it does. So as I was live chat, okay, I think it's working. Yes, I see everybody's present. Patty Sutherland says hello. Okay, so as I was turning the corner, I was looking down and I saw Harley out of the left corner of my eye. Lesson learned, don't take your eye off the ball and look at Harley, right? My foot got caught on the light pole and I took a header. So both my legs, my new knee and the other knees, everything got twisted up underneath me. It's life's most embarrassing moment when the firemen have to come get you off the floor. So I didn't exactly get to the piece that I promised I was going to get to until this morning, starting to fart around with that piece where we left off last time. I was pretty much trying to just keep my eyes and my knees iced so I could get back to normal. So it looks like it's 13:58. Yeah, I'm walking. I am walking. And then, yeah, I am walking. Then, because of an insurance thing, they weren't going to redo the meds that my doctor called in. And I called the pharmacy. I said, I'll pay for them. Let's just get this going. So that's okay. It happens. But lesson learned, we got to pay attention to stuff, right? We got to pay attention when we're walking around. So this morning, or actually last night, I was going back and forth over my pieces that I had already started. What could we do today? What would be different? How do I handle what we left off last time? And John, you asked me about that resin, that stone coat, quick coat, 20-minute resin, supposed to be. Yeah, I know, Sharon, I hate that when it happens. Help, I fall. And I've lost quite a bit of weight since my surgery. So, with a little bit of physical therapy, let's hope we don't have to use firemen every time, even though they are cute. They are cute when they come by to help. I got to give you that. So, anyway, so I started thinking about this swipe piece that I did. By the way, we're going to address the one that I finished off last time. Oh, what I was going to say is, so John, that was a 20-minute quick coat, supposed to set up in 20 minutes. My mistake is I waited 9 minutes to try to brush it on. And yeah, I actually mixed up some resin 40 minutes before this event started. And I think in the future, I have some art resin here, even though it may not be resin play day, I can still do a little decorative stuff with some resin. And by the time I actually get to this, it'll be thick enough to use. Because when I was doing the droplets on my resin piece, we were 80 minutes into it. And the 45-minute art resin was still spreading quite a bit, actually. So there's this swipe that we did, I think, the very first week. And I love art resin too. Now, what I got, this is the swipe that had all those little itty bitty, tiny, very elegant cells, right? It was one of the first ones I did. A lot of white in this, right? And let's go over each one of these little sections because you can see the little pink popping up behind what looks kind of a dolphin stone color here. I forget what I used here. I have to go back to the video, find out, but this was, yes, it does, John. So this is not a piece that I just want to go, wah, and make it all bright with too much color. And I thought, okay, should I put a dragonfly wing design over the top? Because those would be perfect if I intentionally lace the wings like this. Wouldn't that be a good treatment for dragonfly wings? This in here, which I think we need to try sometime. Literally do a tiny swipe in the shape with the intention so it would fit into some, you know, dragonfly wings. What's really interesting, John, as soon as I turned it over, these started looking like waves to me. Oh, this top, yeah, which would now be the bottom. As soon as I turned it over, this looked more like skyline, right? And this looked a little bit like, I know, these would make great patterns for dragonfly. I even had tulips here ready to draw with this thing, and I said, no, I would ruin it. But as soon as I flip this over, this looks like right in here, lapping water, right? This kind of has a wavy feel. This kind of has a sky feel. Now I cheated a little bit. Hey, Judy, how are you doing, Fairy Art Mother? I cheated a little bit off camera before we got started. I wanted to see what happened because this right here, this golden color is that amber wing from the Dragonfly wing set. This was that dolphin stone, which is way too subtle. I know this is the gold, but we really don't know what these two are. But while I was off camera this morning, mixing up my resin in advance, I took a color called Harvest Fire. And okay, so one thing about my fall, I'm not going to be able to stand very much to paint. I'm going to do most of this sitting down, so bear with me how I get my camera angles because my back's still a little bit mad at me. Yes, yes, I saw this. This would be a great test piece to hand to somebody who's doing some decorative stuff for her house and say, I can do a big 24 by 36 or a big 36 by 40 in this, and this would be beautiful on the wall, right? Bathroom, hallway, where it depends on the design of your home. It might go right there in your foyer when you're walking right in the door. And by the way, I know this is a side note. I'm gonna sort of take a page out of Erica Bauer's book. I saw her step in and do a video for RK3, a marbling thing, and she was fooling around with semi-opaque and opaque. I'm going to try something here, even though it's not exactly how she was doing it. She's inspired me to look at this different. Now, if you've never seen Artist Till Death, ATD, she and Jeff are amazing when it comes to resin. They do commissions. They will go out and do work at people's houses if they need work done. And I thought that was really great of her to step in for Rhonda for RK3. But she really has a handle on resin. Moon Cusser and Erica Bauer from Artist Till Death are amazing. Yes, what this is those boards that Michaels came out with. Look at the back of this. It's some kind of hard cardboard. It feels like it is wood on the side, right? But it's strong enough to withstand resin. This is not a typical canvas that will sink. That's a really good question, Opal. So, so here's, I'm gonna just fool around a little bit with the micas and show you what I saw when I was playing with this Harvest Fire, but I wanted to warn you, my camera's gonna be a little bit weird today because I'm not gonna be able to stand up and paint, just so everybody understands. So, let's, here where the amber fire was. Now you probably can't see the sparkle. And my finger really does work best. So we're gonna see if my glove will do this. I'm just taking amber fire. This is a type of mica that we have. It's a color-coded mica. I'm not amber fire, I'm so sorry. This is harvest fire, oops. The harvest fire. Look how sparkly that is. Can you see that sparkle in there? And because we're gonna resin over this, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna disturb it, right? It'll be there. So I just thought that was a nice little accent, just kind of rubbing that in there. I have another little section here that might benefit a tiny bit from this harvest fire. This is what it looks like, and I have some in my cup. It's a really unique, sparkly, color-coded mica. And it comes from another company that I don't order from all the time, so we will eventually run out. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that stuff again. It was also not cheap. It's one of the prettiest color-coded micas I've ever seen. It just has some extra glitz and sparkle to it. Now, these were the two obvious ones to put it over. I'm thinking just for the fun, I want to see what happens down here because it's the bottom. What if I put that over that gold? Ooh. I'm just looking for subtleties. This is going to be one thing that's completely out of the norm for me. I'll kind of take something and color it up so it looks like a rainbow, sometimes too much. But I think in this point, as elegant as this is starting to look, less is more in this. So I have another color here to rub on. It's called Stargazer. And I'm going to take a chance at the Be Mine color from the Be Mine set. Actually, we have a set for Valentine's called Be Mine. It's a primer element set. I'm just going to try to, maybe my notebook would help me since I'm trying to sit here temporarily. Hey, Janelle. Yeah, the notebook at least give us a little bit of a slant here for right now because we have a little temporary situation where I am not going to stand. I will move this over slightly so we can get as close up as possible. Now the Be Mine, I believe it looks kind of turquoisey. It's very sparkly, but this is a primary element. Is the primary element going to behave? It looks awfully glitzy. Is it going to behave like a pastel? Because me rubbing that stuff in, not really. But the Stargazer, we know, is like face powder. And this has actually got color in it. This is not in the Bling It line. This is the primary element line. But if I run this over here, yeah, we're going to get a little bit of something in there to just kind of add some elegance. I'm going to do another little one down here, see if I can't find. Yeah, this looks almost too glitzy. It'll be pretty under the resin, but I like the softness of that Stargazer. Look, that Stargazer, it looks like I'm just rubbing a pastel in there. God, that's beautiful. So if they looks like a face powder, you'll be able to rub it right on an area that's already dried acrylic, right? Because there's some tooth there. You've already created some tooth. All right, now, special little thing, like I said, something I saw Erica do, and I'm going to try two colors. This is even different for me, not something I've never seen me do. So I'm going to lay a color called Sweet Pea. It's a primer element, and Mermaid scales, but just how we were doing, I've got the second one here because this is a surprise. We are going to get back to this. Just as how I was going to, put spots of resin on this, okay? I'm actually going to do some waving in here, like maybe do, how do I show you? See a section here where you can see it looks like white and flat, right? But it runs, God, it's hard to get this on the phone, but it runs into where it's blue here. So I have a choice. I could go to blue, or I could put the parasol here, but because, not parasol, the sweet pea, but because we have so much peach tones in here, I'll probably do the mermaid scale in here. I'll probably run the peachy color in here. I just want to see what happens if I add some pockets of resin in there. This is a full-blown experiment. Hey, Janelle. Princess Jasmina's mama, how are you doing? How are you doing, honey? So nice to see everybody here. Yeah, we got Cindy and Kathleen Medford and Opal D, Princess Jasmina's mama, Janelle, John, Fairy Art Mother, the whole gang's here. Okay, so now with the primary element, we have to pre-dissolve it with a little Vivid Art Fluid. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, these are our experiments. And the dragonfly wing set, these are almost pure interference with just, imagine like a drop of color on a sugar cube. These are very, very delicate colors, but they're still gonna give you some opacity because there is color in these, not just micro pattern. Like I said, I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. It was my bad for coming up with a type of product line that's never been done before, a dry paint system. Have you ever heard of a dry paint system? I hadn't. And so people say, what? Looks like a mica powder to me. No, it's actually a dry paint system. There's color in these. So let's get our tops on. Always be tidy. Mistakes can happen if we don't. Okay, so that was actually heavy for me. I think that was that's a quarter of a teaspoon. That's a lot of powder. Usually it's 2 parts powder, 1 part liquid. This is also technically a quarter teaspoon, but it looks like my heaping teaspoon of powder will be able to handle it, because all we want to do is turn this into a slurry. Yeah, this is the sweet pea and mermaid scales and the dragonfly wing set. And all we want to do is dissolve the color. We're not trying to make a liquidy paint, right? Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Yes, they are they're technically a primary element. That is correct, John. This is not a Bling It. This is a primary. As a matter of fact, I had the primary element jar I was in. I just opted for pulling out my big jars. These are my stash. Now, see how some of it's not broken down yet? I got to make sure that every bit of that is dissolved, even if I have to put like one more single drop in this, because I don't want any undissolved color in there. Just a drop. Hopefully that's enough. We just get in those little crevices. Doesn't take much. A little bit's gonna go a long, long way for you guys. Okay. Now I'm just doing a couple spots, so it's not like I need a whole bunch of this mixed up. It's about an ounce, maybe. I don't know if that's even a full ounce. We'll see what it looks like after I stir this up. Now this resin's been sitting I mixed it at 10:30. We are exactly 45 minutes on this, and see how beautiful and liquid it is. And art resin's cure time or working time is 45 minutes. Hey, Evie! Welcome back, honey. Oh, that's such a pretty color. But it may be too dark for our piece. I don't know. It is really subtle. You know, just to be safe. This is perfect. This is so light and delicate. This is going to be perfect. Look at that. Oh my God. That's prettier than a pink parasol. Look at that. Oh, the violet in that. Well, this sweet pea's pretty. Okay, I could sit and stir this all day long. I know you guys would get tired of me stirring it all day long. But this is resin, Eve, yeah. So what you've missed so far, Eve, is I took my canvas, the swipe from before, and I've rubbed on some of the Harvest Fire blingets in here and some of the primary elements. I just kind of rubbed it in like a pastel. I used it like a pastel. Now I'm going to spot pour, but this may be a little bit bright for what we're trying to do, maybe. So I'm going to just, as a backup, take a tiny bit of interference green. Yeah, it rubs on real gorgeous, like a pastel. Just take a little bit of green. And some of this straight interference. And I think where I'm going to drop the Mermaid scales, I'm going to try to kind of swirl them together in that spot. You know, I thought about this for the last 2 days. What am I going to do for today after I took my tumble? And those of you that missed the intro, Tuesday, about 5 to 7 minutes after I did this, I took a big header. And the firemen had to come get me up off the floor. Yay. Life's most, I wouldn't say, I mean, it was embarrassing, yes, but awareness moments. Holy moly, I need to get back to physical therapy. I don't want to get to the point where I can't get up off the floor at all. Leslie, ColourArte Products just landed me a major contract. What? What'd you say? Wow. Congratulations. Pamela just told us that she landed a major art contract, it sounds like, using ColourArte products. I am so proud of you, honey. That is fabulous. Okay, so for the purpose of doing this with the resin, and I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm just like when we were trying to do the petals. Yes, fallen and you can't get up. Exactly. And you have to call the fire department. Yeah, they're both blown out right now. They're pretty angry with me. Okay, let me get a stare at this. I really want to stare where I'm going to lace this down. I think I'm going to lay the obvious place to be put some of the turquoises here. Maybe here, but because we have all this warmth up here, I don't know. I think I'm going to start with the sweet pea up here. I was going to do the other way around, but I'm going to put the sweet pea up here. So let's see how close we can get. And I'm just going to lay some sweet pea right over the section that I want it to be. Just as if I was painting flowers, right? Painting those flowers, those ginkgo leaves. Imagine this is my skyline. This might work on my big radiant glaze piece that I got in progress too. It doesn't have to be perfect because the glass clouds and your skyline are not perfect. Yes, I did get approved. I switched insurance companies. I went to Aetna. Boy, I could give you guys an entire hour course on how to get hooked up with your Medicare Advantage. I went through 2 years of being kicked off of water therapy because of Humana. Never do that again. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is really coming out pretty neat, actually. I'm liking that I am pooling up. Can you see what's happening here? Because I can always go over this with another layer of resin after this sets up, but this is going to create some beautiful texture and dimension in my piece. Yeah, this would be a great test piece. Someone like Judy Sand, who has a beautiful, elegant living room, and say, do you like this treatment? Yeah, then make me a great big one. It's okay. This is a good color for you, even though it's kind of peachy. I know you really like more of the pinky stuff. I'm still going to broaden this out a little bit. I got a little room to make this fatter. Doesn't have to be a skinny gas cloud. See how if I can do this with my left hand and still have you guys see me. Now this is where doing something in a live can be a little precarious. Okay, so that's not a bad beginning. I kind of think I need something up here. So for the purposes of just sitting down, and since this is the fatter area, I'll make this a little bit fatter. So I'm going to start on this end. Now I know I'm going to have to tape these off. I even have some tape ready. If for some reason we get too much resin on here, I will tape off the edges. I'm hoping not having to. Have you guys ever seen anybody do this before? Somebody in the world has to have done this before. I can't be the only crazy one out here. What's also going to be accomplished by doing this, when we're doing this swipe, we have edges that, like this whole side had all that white paint, right? So by kind of completing the pattern all the way across, it is going to give more continuity to our design. I haven't seen it either, Janelle. It doesn't mean, but on my radiant piece, I've done those 2 layers of varnish on. I was thinking of doing something like this with gel medium. But quite frankly, after doing this, and this was just a last minute, aha, let's try this. I think I can get away with doing this on my radiant piece and then resin the first layer. You know the one I'm talking about. The whole thing is graduated. So again, just so it looks a little bit more unbalanced or balanced, whichever way you want to look at it. A little bit heavier in this end, a little bit lighter here. That looks kind of interesting, actually. I'll bring this out a little bit more. See if we can't get a painterly design. Let's try this. Sometimes they do. Now, I kind of liking what's happening here. We want to see how it settles out, where it decides to go, you know. Maybe I have to take my stick and kind of push it back in places or smooth it out. This is just a clean stick with no resin on it, just to make sure it's not going to run out of the area that we want it in. Looks like it's moving here, so I'm going to push that back just a little bit. It's not going to hurt even if I push it all the way back, because eventually this whole thing will be resined. But I'm liking this so far. Well, no, this we're doing a texture treatment here. This would not be something I want to roll over the sides. No, when we do the final layer to this, absolutely, we'll have color that's rolling over the sides. But uh, right now, this is about creating some interest in the piece. I don't know, where am I going to put my greeny turquoisey color? I'm still thinking this is a little bit bright. So let's get over here fearlessly. Find your next section. I'm thinking right here, just a little bit. I'm going to start with some interference green. Oops, there was a little accident there. Again, the whole piece is going to yeah, I know, this opens up lots of ideas. The whole piece will eventually be resined. So me wiping off that one little spot where there's some interference green, thank God there was no more color than that in there, is not gonna hurt anything, but lesson learned. I need to come up early. Now, you guys have seen me a couple times trying to play with my syringes. I saw someone this morning adding spots to her resin piece. She's Boreal Art. She's on Instagram, and she was using a 5 ml syringe like I've been thinking would work. It's just, this would be the resin to do it. We would need to give it plenty of time like I did today. It's already had an hour almost. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we're 3 minutes away from an hour, and it's still giving me lots and lots. I'm kind of liking just what that interference green is going to add, right? Let's take some of this Mermaid. I'm going to add it to my green. So it's going to make this Mermaid scales a little bit more subtle in color. Let me add some of this interference. Yeah, I bought these a long time ago, but I think I have a couple that haven't been opened up yet, so I can take a photo and get the link. Yeah, I've had them out of my stash forever. I haven't painted in a really long time. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking some of the interference green and kind of lacing it along that Mermaid scales. Again, it's making this turquoise just not so in your face. I'm not trying to create a rainbow here. I'm just trying to create some subtle, glorious, elegant patterns in this. And after I look at this, I may decide that maybe some of these little gassy moment cloud thingies that I'm making aren't fat enough, but sure, that is really interesting. And to think I was going to just draw a dragonfly over this thing this morning. Because again, I saw that the cells would be perfect in the dragonfly wings. So that's a project for the future that we intentionally need to do them. There you go. Art canvas panels, pen. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for who looked that up. I really appreciate it. Yeah. With the rise of the whole mixed media stuff, you can now get practice canvases that will take the resin and won't sag on you, or mixed media, lay papers down and all kinds of stuff, and then do I don't know why I want a little bit here. I know I don't need to do a whole rainbow thing, but I'm going to do a little bit of the green right here to accentuate that green line that's here. Here's some of that interference green. This is what they call intuitive painting, right? I mean, it stared at this thing deciding where should it go? Where should the colors go? But look what's on top of this. Now look, I'm hitting a really bright blue there. So actually I want to kind of, thank you very much, but I'm going to push this up. I just realized I went over a place that had some really beautiful interference blue underneath it. See that blue cast and violet? Up here needs a little bit more work. So I scooched my line up more into here where it's more just pure white. Because I can. I'm only adding details. Other than don't tilt it too much, Leslie, or these are going to start falling down. That's the challenge of doing it flat and not being able to pick it up, right? But that's just a fact of life. That's the challenge of dealing with resin. I know that Tuesday's normally resin day. And Friday's not, but we kind of left ourselves in the middle of a project that sort of failed. And this kind of straddles both. This is how to handle fixing an acrylic pour. Ooh, I kind of like that. Just that little bit of, hopefully that'll level out. Want that to level out in there. Oh, I'm liking the streaks of that mermaid and that green. I can't wait to resin this whole thing. I won't be able to resin this till tomorrow because we got to let this set up. Darn it. But I think it's going to be really interesting. Okay, so now, I mean, in theory, I'd be finding a place to put some peach in there again because I've done that, even though I'm trying not to like make it so obvious as the pattern. Yeah, if I was gonna, oh, absolutely. When I tape this off, we'll be frog taping the sides. Absolutely. I mean, there's a little tiny bit. I don't have a dribble yet over the side for any of this yet. Just kind of smoothing out to make it look more interesting to me. Okay, so do we do another little peachy thing here? No. The dragonfly would have been me drawing over the lacing, Eve. No. I just think for another day, these smallest cells would be perfect in the dragonfly wing. And if we could intentionally swipe in the direction of where we might decide to put our dragonfly, then you can incorporate that look. Well, I decided to do this. I think, no, I'm not going to put the dragonfly red. Interesting idea. I didn't think of that. You know, I'm dying to put some bubbles on this thing, droplets. But then I'd probably ruin my design here and everybody would be yelling at me, no water droplets. Here's what I was thinking. And this area may let me do it. Okay, I know it's experimental, but what if instead of putting a droplet in, I'm to fatten this up just a little bit and show you what I'm talking about. Rather than putting like an actual water droplet in, why not add an opal glass cloud effect on top? Because it'll still create an opal effect. Okay, I've got some green, but to do that, I'm going to need some blue. If this works. Here's some interference blue. Yeah, the interference is the ones that really get bendy when it comes to bending the lights. Where would you put the droplets on the piece on my left? Right in the middle of those, where? On the background? Maybe? That might be cool. Water droplets on that, and that's not a bad idea. And then some gold. Gold is always beautiful when you're trying to do an opal effect. That's not a bad idea for the background. Yeah, but still, I still have to brush over my petals first, let them set up, and then I don't think I can do them in the same session. That's the blue. I need a little gold to do the effect. You guys know where I'm going with this. I just have a crazy obsession of what happens when they drop into each other. So can't I create an opal glass cloud effect? Yeah, it'd be multi-layer, John. You're absolutely correct. So here's some interference gold. We don't need much. Now I laid down a pink. So the opposite of the pink would be green. Is that right? Red, violet. Complement to red, violet is a green, yellow. So technically, but look how that blue looks. See, the blue is what, the blue and the gold just create this insane look. Just for grins and giggles, I'm going to try to make this cloud a little bit the Leslie droplet technique. Yeah, I use it way too much. I'm in love with it. Okay. Yeah, this has a really fat area here. It's a lot of just white paint that was right here. Just making sure there's plenty of this peach color. Sweet pea. Okay. So even though the green would be the direct opposite, I don't know, it feels risky putting green down, but I'm going to try to put some green down first. So let's try, instead of a round droplet, let's try put in a little vein in here. That's the green. The only thing is, how fat do I have to get it to turn into like an opal effect? You can barely see that stringing in there. I think it needs a tiny bit more, but I know I'm adding resin here, risking it fattening out. Remember, we're an hour on this already. Okay, so that's green. Gold will definitely contrast. So let's see if we try to put don't be in a hurry, Leslie, put some gold directly inside of that green. I can't look at what anybody's saying because I'm staring at my stick. This may not work unless I'm working in a bigger area, but we'll see. Still gonna make it interesting. That's for sure. Yeah, I thought maybe get gas cloud, glass cloud, gas cloud, and then droplets in a couple spots. But I know you guys are probably tired of seeing me. See, now there's the gold and there's the green in there. Can I get the blue? And not exactly. I was trying to have it do the same droplet effect, right? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's pretty. What did I just do? Okay, let's try one more time. Yeah, if you're really careful, you can lay it right on top of that other vein, but okay, now that I've done that, I have to do it to all of them. Take a look at that. Can you see that? Okay, back to the other drawing boards. Now I have to make it look little continuity. Let's do a little green line on this one and go all the way over, at least in this one section. Let's get the green in where it's fatter. Yeah, I'm telling you, this technique of dribbling them on top of one another drives me nuts. I sleep dreaming of this. I keep thinking there's got to be some really cool technique that can come out of this, right? But remember, I let my resin sit up for a full 40 minutes, longer than that, almost an hour before I touched it. We talked for 15 minutes, and I already had it mixed for 40. So, yeah, that blue on top of this. Ooh! Okay, I'm seeing stuff you can't see yet. I'm so sorry. I don't know, can you see that shift right there? You see that shift right there? Crap. Wow. Okay, let's go down the next pink. I wasn't planning this, but I'm gonna do it now. I'm all in. Okay, I start at the fattest area because I got the fattest drop, and I'm gonna go all the way out to the skinny end. Yeah, the blue and violet create really strong, but the gold, oh my God, that gold is so strong, John. John said that the blue and violet's his favorite. Mine too, because it creates the most shiftiness. But that gold is just crazy beautiful. Our manufacturer makes the prettiest gold coating. I mean, it actually looks gold in the cup. It doesn't look like white powder. And if you compare it to other interferences, I will say we're very fortunate to get our hands on this gold because it's extraordinary. So I'm taking it, if you notice, I'm starting in the areas that are fatter with a fatter drop and then going out to each edge that is the skinnier. Back to adding some blue on top of this gold. That's when it really starts to give you the opal effect. The blue on the gold is the whole enchilada, baby. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I'm a happy girl. Can't I just say? Not everything that happens on camera makes you want to dance the happy dance, right? This is life. It takes practice. Life's messy. Again, I'm going to try really hard so you can see what just happened there real quick. There's that little opal effect right there. You can see it. Okay, here's got that little bit of green. I'm going to go ahead and just scooch a vein of some little bit of gold across here. just to make it interesting. And then do a little bit of blue. Ooh la la, yes. And then because we've already got the green, we're just gonna do the blue right on top of this gold. Oh, that's pretty cool, Eve. Eve said she's watching this on a 60-inch TV. Yeah, I would be pretty turned on watching this on a 60-inch TV. I'm seeing it on my little phone, so I'll be able to watch the replay. It won't be quite on a 60-inch TV, but it'll be on my monitor. And if you notice, I'm leaving them separate. I'm not blending them. I'm going to let that blue cast sit right on top of that gold cast there. I'm letting it stay the way it is. Now this one was green. So let's go over the top with this. Yeah, the blue and white, the blue and violet. The thing is violet. Okay, so how to explain this? Violet shifts really strong in a turquoise color. If you have a turquoise color base and you add interference violet, you're going to get a super strong shift. Same thing for pink and violet colors. If you add interference blue to a pink or a violet color, you're going to get the strongest shift out there. Can't explain why, but they just really, really, really shift against each other. Turquoises and blues in the violet interference and blue interference in violet colors. Let's get this, yeah, can't wait to see what resin does. Yeah, well tomorrow, this is resin though, you do realize we're playing with resin right now. Tomorrow when we resin over the top of this, this will look really pretty. Get that blue right on top of that gold. Yes, yes, yes. So now I've made up for all the areas that I didn't do this little opal-y skyline effect. So we've got 2 more areas down here. So I have a section here that kind of looks a little blah. I'm thinking maybe, we'll see what happens. Just some interference, Stargazer. I can always brush this off with a brush. But I'm thinking just a little bit of a pop there. Let me get my brush here. I have a little brush it all. Oh, what's this? What did that smooth? Something picked up something there. What is that? Oops. Well, that's there. What's that? Oh, wow. That's a place where some green interference grabbed it. What am I going to do there? So I have to fix this somehow because that blue just really... What would I... Well, a green, a blue would pop, a gold would pop. Saskia swears by violet. I'm always risky. Here's a beautiful thing, though. You can get away with, yeah, this little spot's kind of bugging me. I'm going to add an unexpected little trace I wasn't planning on. I'm just going to kind of cover it right here. This is as if it was a little extra spot. Get my green resin in here. I've got to cover up that little flaw. No one will ever know. I think that was meant to be. This extra little dip here, right? I didn't care for that spot. It is my piece after all, which means I can do whatever I want. Her spam. Now I'm really covering up that spot. It just looked really odd. And I know under the resin it would bug me. That one little flaw in the swipe would, and that blue just suddenly brought it up. It accentuated it. So my bad. Have to fix my mistake here. You know, this isn't going to be the first time I do this. I think this is a technique I could fall in love with. And it's pretty elegant, right? It doesn't look, okay, so we got to put something down here. I just got to figure out, I've got a lot of green spots. I can come in with some green right in here and follow that natural line. I'll put some of the green down. Is Taz here? Hi, Taz. Okay. Well, I'm not going to have much of this green resin left, so this is going to be my last green area I'm going to do. Get everything on this stick, scrape the whole thing out. See how much more you can get? A lot more resin in this cup than you realize. Okay, let's add some of this Mermaid scales from the Dragonfly Wing set in here. Yeah, I know, Janelle, this is kind of crazy. I'm liking this. It's an easy process to get started with resin without having to do some big, messy piece. You can kind of dip your big toe in it. I'm not sure I want that green all the way out there. You can kind of dip your big toe into this and play. Now, what would be cool is, say we weren't doing these and we wanted these to stay in these beautiful pastel shapes. Remember, resin has a tack time. So if you were doing some piece that had all kinds of earth tones and you wanted these to really shine with some kind of metal or mica or something, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but resin has a tack time. About 8 hours into its setting up, you could, this is a little bit fat ending right here. I'm going to thin this out a bit. You can, during the 8 hours to 24 hours, if you rub mica or like a gold, copper, bronze, these would turn, these resin lines would turn pure metal. You would never even know it had the color in it because of the tack. What happens is the resin grabs the mica powder and then the mica powder becomes one with it. So this still needs a little bit of the blue. Yeah, I saw Taz is here, but I can't really see what anybody's saying just yet. Okay, I got one more place down here. I'm thinking since this is such pretty area, I'm just going to put a little bit of the peach down here at the bottom just to make it feel like it's fallen off, but I don't want to take away from the beauty of the gold and that lacing in that section there. So I'm just going to finish off this sweet pea color here. Remember, there's a lot in this cup. There's plenty here. Just don't go over the edge on me, dude. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of lavender there. It's so pretty. I can't wait for the resin to pick up the lacing of that swipe. And we're just doing these little texture sparkly sections to complement it, right? It's about making all the other colors pop. Okay, And now I'm going to do a little bit of gold. Use the rest of this gold here. Fairy Art Mother hasn't said anything. Hopefully she's still watching. Trying to do you proud, Miss Judy. Now we're at 14:56, so we're at almost an hour and a half on this resin, and it's finally starting to thicken up what I would want the water droplets to do. So where you put them, they stay. Are you? I'm so happy, Judy. I've not seen anybody do this. Okay, so at this point, I'm loving that little bottom thing. I'm loving that little green thing. I'm leaving this as it is. Are you guys okay with that? It's art resin, sweetheart. And even though it says the working time is 45 minutes, Eve asked how long the working time was. It's, we're an hour and a half into it. And it's really giving me good stuff here. So believe it or not, let's swap. Well, it sounds like somebody is at my door. I hope not. Who's not using ColourArte products? Okay, yeah, so our little piece is sitting over there. It's gonna cure. We need to address this piece that we started. Now, is that my cat at the door? Oh my God, Blossom can hear me talking. Okay, now here's the bummer. This turned out kind of milky, but because of that resin that locked up on me. But for the purpose of this piece, and John's right, I could paint the petals, let them cure, go in here and do a beautiful, I know it's a shame that happened here, but I knew I had too many lines. The lines were fat. I drew too many lines when I sketched it out. You know, all those things of what hindsight's 2020. And I'm embracing the pink because the pink is gonna look great. Hello? Yeah. Are you Andy? Yeah. Hello? Somebody's at my door. Can I help you? Can you just leave them? Yeah, I'm filming, honey. Okay. Thanks. Great. Yay. Sorry, guys. He was going to keep knocking unless I said something. My apologies if I was yelling loud. They were bringing me new empty bottles because I'm going to be sneak peeking the next round of the Purely Pigments here in the next couple days. And they were bringing me some empty bottles. So, all right. So I have this resin here. There's enough left. I'm going to still paint over my section like I planned. And so once the resin's set up, you should be able to brush it on. And this is not going to turn like the stone coat will, but I am going to work fast. We're an hour and a half on this. And it's giving me a really nice texture I can paint. This is like perfect. What just don't seize up on me now, dudes, after doing that whole piece. Getting all this resin ready. Please. Please don't fail us now. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna work. Now I have a couple backups for this resin. Those big heart molds I had out the other day, what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna pour the faces of those. Let me get this resin down the stem. So I'm going to use the rest of this resin to, yeah, it is right now. It's getting thick, but this is an hour and a half into it. And if you're going to brush something on and you don't want it to spread any further, this is the perfect consistency for the droplets, right? See how it's setting up and it's still staying out? If I heated it at all, it would run. And I'm going to heat it just a little bit so it smooths out before we're done. But, yeah, it is getting thick now. But you notice it's not running out on the rest of the pattern. And I was waiting for the resin to get to this point so you can isolate where the resin's going to be. And I'm just going to hit this gently with a gun. I'm not cooking it, I'm just warming it. And then the brush that I've dedicated to this, since that's warmed up, should spread any, see, there you go, it's warmed up and it's real liquidy again. Should spread out anything I feel like I've missed or might be uneven. And then the top one, it looks like there was some spots that was missed. And I'm so bummed it turned milky. But at least I have plenty of resin to do this. And all I got to do is heat it up. It's going to be just fine. Hey, Casey, how you doing, honey? Casey, CVS Pharmacy. I want to call her CVS Pharmacy, and it's a completely different way she spells her call letters. Okay, let's heat this. And that's just so this levels out. I just want to smooth out my petals on my ginkgo leaves, okay? That's all I'm going to do. Now, I'm leaving my opal, whatever we want to call that, opal swipe alone. So here's some resin molds I said I had set aside. Now, these are really, really deep, and when we pulled them out, they have super fat faces. So the leftover resin, and I actually have some in another cup. Don't laugh, but when you find out how much resin I have left over, it's kind of crazy. So what I'm going to do is fill these third of the way up so I can do a mica treatment on the back and see what kind of patterns I can get the back on these when these set up. Tomorrow, maybe we'll be able to play with these too. Get the back of these up. This is a super, super deep mold. These are gorgeous hearts. I've never seen a mold quite this. Oh, you guys can't see it. Sorry. There we go. It's super deep. And so, yeah, you got to be really careful if you want to get that first third in. So you got that little bulby part covered with the clear resin. I'm just kind of making sure the whole inside's coated. Now, these are perfect. See how it bulbs out, but still like the perfect size. We probably could pour the face on this thing and then go in and do a Daniel Cooper on the back end and leave this in the mold. The other ones I'm going to pull out, try to do something on the back, and then put them back into the mold. Dang. Wow. I can't believe how far this resin's going, guys. Okay, I got to get that brush in a cup. I dropped it in a cup of alcohol to try to get the resin out of the ferrules. Just make sure I've got this all evenly there in the bottom of this thing. Wow, I made way too much resin. I still have a tiny bit of my colors, but I'm not gonna mess with those. And get my alcohol here. Clean up the top of these molds. Wherever the mold kind of got sticky, instead of having to peel it off, I can wipe off the top of this mold. Keep it fairly clean. Yeah, see, this one I'll demold. I'll pull the face out, do something on the back. This height is perfect to still work in after it's set up. So I had a feeling I might have some leftover resin. And yeah. All right, so I think we need to leave off there. Little bit of business. The 39% code is gone Sunday night. That's because I'm going to be doing some reviews over the weekend for something that I don't plan on putting on sale that deep. Oh, we got some people in here talking about this. So the sale goes on till Sunday evening. I'll remove it Monday morning when I wake up. So if you're still on at 2 o'clock in the morning and want to make that happen until I'm there Monday morning, waking up about 6 a.m. California time, it won't be knocked off. So reveals, yeah. Well, I got nothing to reveal right now. We have plenty of, you've got me going, lady. First PT, then resin. I know, but we got to get our physical therapy going. Eve, that was ridiculous. I'm too young to have them, you know, help. I've fallen and I can't give up. That's ridiculous. I think the age is a state of mind, and I admit I let all the stuff that was going on with my body really get to me the past 2 years, and I feel like a brand new person with my new knee and my new life and new live videos with you guys. So, like I said, little bit of business, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are going to finish up our, whatever we want to call it, ocean swipe piece. And I will do a final layer on my ginkgo leaves, even though we had some fails. And maybe play on the back end of those parts. Oh, you guys still have one more week to watch the Winter Dreams live event. I think everybody in here has already sent me their guess at the secret phrase, but those that are watching the replay, remember you have till the 9th to watch all the videos and put your guess in for the secret phrase for enter to win in the $400 shopping spree. Somebody's gonna win it. Just ask Sherry Ellis. She's in this group and she was the first person to ever win. So I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Leslie Ohnstad. I'm your host 3 days a week on ColorPlay Live, and love you guys.